Today we are out at Waikota Ranch and our host today is Turk. Thanks for having us. We are going to plan a large vegetable garden. I think we've measured this, it's about 75 by 35, but what kind of things do you want us to plant in your garden today?
Peas, corn, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, pretty much all vegetables that you can think of.
Now what we're going to do is we have a complete collection of vegetables we're going to plant today, both plants and seed. And make sure you go to our website at getthedirtcolorado.com because we'll have a complete list of how many vegetables you'd have to plant to feed your entire family. Now the garden we're planting today is going to be a little bit more than Turk needs for himself and the kids, but we talked about that friends and neighbors might be able to take advantage of the large garden. And the kids going to be helping out here?
Oh, absolutely.
This is going to be one huge project. Now we've done the soil prep already and we've had a lot of work that we've already completed. It's been a long day already in our planting process. And now we're going to be talking to Keith and he's going to make sure you understand everything we had to do with the soil prep and everything else we're going to need for our gardening today.
You've been working hard today, haven't you?
Yes, sir, I have.
We've got this whole thing all tilled up now. It's been a great project. I noticed that when we first got here this morning, you had already kind of pre-rototilled the thing, gave it a rough tilling.
I did.
And that was just to break up the ground?
Yes, kind of smooth it out and break it up. And
okay.
It'll be easier to plant.
And then our friends at Organic Supply donated 5 tons of their Grow Rich garden soil that we're using as compost. And it's this bag right down here. It's a beautiful stuff. It's made out of eco-compost. It's got fir bark in it. It's got sphagnum moss in it and some dried poultry waste. So it's nice and rich and works beautifully in the soil. So we spread that out all over the garden and then had Turk here rototill it in again to really mix it down into the soil where the roots need it. Now, MJ gave me a list of plants that you guys decided you wanted for you and your kids to grow in the garden, and I put this together, a little plan together here, okay, based on where I think everything should go in the garden. I like the way you oriented the garden on the east-west.
I kind of fell into that, and I didn't know clear why.
Well, the reason for that is because the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west and gives a nice even sun pattern over the whole garden, so everything gets sun.
Okay.
And we also started with the short things at the east end, and as we move to the west, that's where we end up with the tomatoes.
Things
and
that
the
need
corn.
more sunlight.
They need more sunlight, but they also have a tendency to shade things around them. So you want them at one end or the other, preferably the west end, so they don't shade your other crops.
Gotcha.
Now, we're going to be planting cool season and warm season crops. Your warm season crops being tomatoes and beans and the cucumbers and the cantaloupe and corn and so forth. Some of that we're going to do with plants that Welby Gardens has donated for us. Some of that we're going to be doing with seed. So it's going to be a combination of both. And there'll also be some cool season plants which go in the ground early in the season while the temperatures are still cool, like the peas that you requested and the broccoli and the cabbage and so forth. So we'll get all of that put in the ground today, and then we're going to put down some irrigation and make your life as painless as possible, keeping track of this.
You promise that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not like the Obamas. You don't have staff to take care of this, do you?
No.
All right.
Just me and my kids.
You and your kids?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's make sure that it's easy on all of you so you really enjoy this.
Nice.
All right?
I appreciate it.
So let's go get the plants and get started.
Absolutely. Let's
all
get
right.
after it.
Coming up after the break, you're going to watch us work up a sweat as we plant all this corn and all the other vegetable plants.